Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners back again with another podcast, talking brew crew like we do every day. In today's episode, we will talk about the loss to the Nationals. We will cover the good, the bad, the downright ugly. We'll talk about this roster and what's been happening with the roster, and some of the key weaknesses that we've seen. Then we'll jump into scores around the league. We'll cover some articles, and we'll talk about the schedule coming up, and we will preview the Pirates series, and we'll cover some Twitter things, and then the main topic at the end of the episode. Uh, Hang on for that one. Now, guys, this show is on all of your favorite podcast platforms. So if you could rate and review, like, and subscribe, that would be excellent. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Apple, Rumble, just to name a few. We do nightly recordings. If you want to join the Facebook group, you can go over to the Miller Park Minute and the Milwaukee Brewers. You can at me at Miller Minute on the Twitter. If you want to buy tickets, SeatGeek, $20 off. Use the code Miller Park Minute. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Miller Park Minute. And you can also go to the website, millerparkminute.com. It's not really up to date, though. So that being said, let's get into today's episode. Let's talk about it, guys. It's always frustrating to lose. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna say it's not frustrating to lose, especially against bad teams. But when you take a look at how we've lost these games, and not just this game, but a lot of them lately, they've been one runs. We've stayed in the fight. We've been consistent. So I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the downright ugly today, but I also want to highlight some things along the way. So we are in second place at this juncture. We lost to a fifth place Nationals team in the NL East. Just today was a lack of hitting. Facing a pitcher who put up a quality outing, Gore, and a guy we haven't really seen much of. So that's always where we struggle. We always seem to struggle with somebody new, and I don't know if that's a disconnection in video room or what that might be. But Miley came back today, and this was the good of today. This is the solid, great, excellent, wonderful, no yelling on the bus. Wade Miley is back in the house. 3 hits, 1 run, of 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, no homers. Miley's pitching at 3.01 ERA. Dude's a tough mofo. He comes out there and plays hard, and he's an old guy as far as the pitcher goes, so he just goes out and he plays hard, and that's awesome. We will give a good award to Tyrone Taylor, as much as I don't like his 168 batting average, and the fact that he gets in the starting lineup with that batting average is kind of pathetic, but he did get a home run today, so we'll give him some credit for that. Otherwise, there was just 4 hits in today's game. 2 runs on 4 hits. Of course, that's not acceptable, guys. That's downright ugly. That's bad. We made a rookie guy look like an ace. The score looked like an ace. That's the bad too. But the lack of hitting today was downright ugly. Turing, Weimer, bottom of the order, Montessario. The regular guys, the consistent power hitters, and the consistent hitters in our lineup just didn't hit, and that is what it is. Now, do I think the world is falling? Do I think this team is imploding and we're doomed? No, I do not. Quite the contrary, actually. I don't think that we are in that much trouble. I think it was just a bad game. We got adjusted to some new guys coming in, and that's going to happen. That's part of this game of baseball. So let's talk about the scores and where we stand and a couple other things along the way. right now, as we look at it, the Dodgers stomping on the Athletics 9-1. That's in the seventh. The Braves stomped on the Angels today. They beat up on Giolito. Bad day for fantasy baseball for me with Giolito on the mound. I wish I would have known. Tigers beat the Pirates 6-3. We of course lost to the Nationals. The Guardians lost to the Astros. The Rockies lost to the Padres 11-1. The Red Sox lost to the Mariners 6-3. The Phillies beat the Marlins. The Marlins beat the Phillies 9-8. The Yankees beat the Rays 7-2. The Orioles lost to the Blue Jays 4-1. The Twins lost to the Cardinals. Ooh, Cardinals back in the win column. And the Cubs 16-6 versus the Reds, doing us a little bit of a favor, but also crawling their way up in the standings. So 11-1 Rangers versus the White Sox. The Mets lost to the Royals, worst team in baseball. And the Giants the Giants beat the D-backs. So the scores around the league. Yeah. Cubs doing us a favor, but also eking up in those standings. So the Cubs are now just 2.5 back of the division lead. They're 3 games back of, two back. They're 3 back overall. The Cubs are 3 back overall. They won the last 2. We lost the last one, and the Reds lost the last 2. So Pittsburgh's in no danger, and neither the Cardinals. They have fallen to dead last. Gosh, I don't remember a time where the Cardinals were dead last in my lifetime, or that the time I've been following the Brewers. I don't know. So I wanted to talk overall about the roster and why we are in the boat we're in. We've had a lot of things not work out and a lot of injuries so far this season. And this little piece I'm kind of going to call why we're not imploding, why we're still doing well. There's some big pieces here that have not yet clicked off, and I think we're primed to have them click off at the same time. So if you look at the guys in the batting order, the guys that are consistent, you got your William Contreras. Christian Yelich is basically carrying this team on his back. And then you're getting consistent at bats from Andrew Montesterio and really Victor Caratini, but Victor Caratini doesn't get as much playtime because he's the backup catcher, obviously. And then we've had a lot of injuries. Now, I'm not going to say when all these injured players come back, that's when we're going to start hitting or anything like that. But what I'm going to say is we still have a lot of depth. So once that depth heals up, you might see a Tyrone Taylor get shifted off this roster. I think right now with his 168 batting average, I think he's just kind of hanging on because they don't want to burn too many options for other position players. So maybe when a Brian Anderson gets healthy or something like that, you might see that. And it all plays to see where each one of these pieces goes. You've got Frelick, Weimer up, Perkins up. Obviously, Canna and Yelich are going to stay. I think this isn't the dream we dreamed of. This isn't the picture we pictured when we started. We didn't know what guys we were going to use in the long haul. Even just look at our bullpen. A lot of those pieces have gone, especially with the trade of Peter Strzelecki yesterday. Hobie Milner's been a consistent, but Perguo, Payamps, Colin Ray, those are guys that necessarily weren't there. Bryce Wilson, We thought Justin Wilson was going to come in. We're going to see, um, and of course, Julio Teheran is a guy that we added as well. So um, I think the roster is the big facto reason of why we are where we are today. I think that's kind of just this roster construction was a little weak around the edges, and it just proved to be weaker as we got it more and more injured. Um, the depth chart is just kind of a shell of what it was on opening day. You know, if you looked at the rotation and you looked at what we had, everything looked pretty solid. But you know, you take out long term a Brandon Woodruff, you know, you drop a Jesse Winker, you know, you drop a Garrett Mitchell. Those are painful moves. Even the depth pieces, we haven't seen anything um a Small or a Robert Gasser get used in any fashion. So, and I don't know where Small is. I last I checked, he wasn't doing very well in the minors. But you don't even see those pieces kind of coming into play at this juncture. So who knows what we're actually gonna do. Um I'm gonna say I stepped out on Twitter today and I took a read on kind of where fans are and just every I don't know if this is just the way the Twitterverse works and the world works. I listen to other Brewers podcasts, um, other daily Brewers podcasts, and they just beat up on us no matter win, lose or draw. They like to beat up and just speak in a general negative tone, and that's not what I'm here to do, guys. I'm always here to be a positive voice and kind of just look at it glasses half full. I think if you live your life in the gutter and live your life in the ditch and the negative of everything, you're just going to get caught up, and it's not going to be a good thing. So one of the things I wanted to cover after talking about the roster is there are pieces out there that have kind of fallen into the DFA realm. There's a Trey Mancini, there's a Gene Segura, other former Milwaukee Brewers, Colton Wong, I think got DFA'd as well. Um, and talk about just for a second here, is there really a room to add? Do we need that depth in the overall? I guess in the overall scheme of things, I mean, I would say yeah. I would invite it if we can add these pieces and they're, you know, willing to take a minor league deal or, you know, sign something that's not super we're not super committed. I think it would be great to have those backup pieces because you never know what's going to happen. Look what's brought us to where we are at this current juncture in the season. We've been pretty injured. And had we not been injured, I think this team would be a lot further ahead in the division than we are. Um, so those are kind of the key things I wanted to highlight. Um, Obviously, all of our trade pieces are in place. Maybe coming back home is just gonna be just what the doctor ordered. Now, if you look over to brewersfanatic.com, they've got some great articles and stuff like that. Like I said, I just posted a video over there. Um, Main feature, they've got all the deadline news, really great information. The article, all of it there. You could also read a new piece called "Could the Brewers Have Swung Bigger at the Trade Market?" Well, yes, of course they could. But go ahead and read that article. It's a great article. Did take a look at it. I do want in brief, talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates and the upcoming series that we've got with them. So tomorrow at 6:15, it's a Fox game, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, not available on Bally Sports. Even if you pay for Bally Sports, it's not going to be there. So you've got Keller versus Hauser, Priester versus Ray, and then if you go to oop, oop. Saturday, you got Burns versus TBD at this juncture, and then you got Freddie. So you got our two aces, our two current aces on the mound Saturday, and Sunday of this matchup. It's a 4-gamer. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates. We actually have a winning record against them so far in the 2023 season. We're 5-1. So I look forward to Pittsburgh Pirates series. I think we're going to do fine. Then we got the Rockies for 3 at home. Then we go to the White Sox, then the Dodgers, then the Rangers. So it gets a little tricky in the middle, but we can win some series here, guys. I don't think that we're stuck in the woods right now or in the bad. Now, okay. The negative Twitterverse is my next topic. And I even have a tweet from my man Dom, who may or may not be coming back to the Miller Park Minute for a visit. You can't be 1-8 against the Rockies, A's, Nationals. Man, it feels like all the work since the Twins series feels erased. Road trip from hell. And I agree. I mean, you can't. Air Freelick said, "Why do I have a feeling we're going to go 1-3 against the Pirates?" I don't think that's right. Just a lot of straight up negative Twitter comments. Owen Miller has been optioned. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Owen Miller has been optioned. Post All-Star break, he was hitting 153, 136, 238 line, 12 games, 44 plate appearances. His July numbers are 178, 213, 247, 20 games. He was the move that they made for I enjoy Twitter polls. Players of the month, we got 2 of those. Devin Williams and Corbin Burns. I put that out on the Facebook earlier. If you're on the Facebook page, you can always comment and join in the conversation there. I think there are some good people that are putting good stuff out on Twitter. I'm not going to say there's not. I mean, what I'm going to say is it seems like the negativity overruns some of the positivity because the negative people try and outrun us positive people on the internet, and that's just how it is. But yeah, that's my brief little snack on the whole Twitterverse. I don't like to get into the realm of like just dwelling on these things. There's some guys that beat this stuff to death. You know who I'm talking about. I am going to speak to something though. I'm going to wrap this with a topic. And a pretty prominent source questioned the major league credit of these guys on our roster and this team that we've put together. A Montesario, Devin Williams, a Hobie Milner. Devin blew a save today. It happens. You win some, you lose some. That's just the way life goes. But the big piece here is the question the major league cred. Now, I'm not a major league baseball player. I would only dream to be a major league baseball player. But to question the cred of the players that they put on the team and the job that management has done to field such a team, to field this team, is beyond encouragement. That's not journalism. That's not fandom. We are here. We have this much knowledge. Now, some of us think we have this much knowledge, and I'm not saying I have. I do these podcasts every day, but I'm just a fan, giving you this piece of my brain, this tiny piece. I don't know as much as Craig Counsell. I don't know as much as Matt Arnold. I don't know as much as David Stearns. I don't know as much as the players on the field. But I do my research. And I study this each and every day. And I read the articles. I read all the articles. And I watch these games. You know, some of these guys that talk, you don't even know if they've ever watched or even watched these games. To question the major league credit of these players, I mean, come on. It's not like football. It's not like basketball where there's one level. There's 3 to 4 levels to get to the major leagues. And if you're questioning the decision making of a guy who's the general manager and the coach and the manager, I mean, come on. Like, I don't mean the soapbox, but that's just ridiculous. Why? Why do you even? Why are you a fan if you're questioning that's my thing. Like I think I said a few weeks ago when people were questioning the sense of Jason Lind. Well, it's a 50-50 shot sometimes. Sometimes they could drop the ball or the ball could get thrown to the backstop, you don't know. You have to trust your gut. And sometimes your gut is wrong. I mean, I'm going to say it again. You win some, you lose some. That's just the way life goes. This team isn't going to be perfect. There's no perfect team. There's no perfect batting average in the league. The best players, the Shohei Ohtanis, the Mike Trouts, the Aaron Judges, the Christian Yelich's, the Mookie Betts, the Freddie Freeman, you name it. The list goes on. Justin Verlander. I mean, these guys, Framber Valdez threw a no-hitter last night. Framber Valdez, not a guy that has a big flashy name. He is very good for Houston. If you're a fantasy baseballer, you might know that. But, I mean, a lot of these, I mean, and here's a great example. German. I think it's German. But anyways, he threw a perfect game the other week. And now he's out because he's got a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction. These guys aren't perfect. And they aren't perfect 100% of the time. They're good enough. And yes, we do have players that aren't good enough. And it's the management's job to get rid of them. It's not our job to get rid of them. I don't make the calls for the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't call to the pen. I don't do any of that. I enjoy. I commentate. And I get a little frustrated. But most of the time, I keep that to myself. I'm more frustrated at some of you people. Some of the Twitterverse, not you people, you guys are my fans and you're listening to my show. But some of the Twitterverse, than I am the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, guys, I had to get that out. I mean, I listen to some of these guys talk and some of these tweets that I see, and it just burns in my brain cells. It's like, how can this be? How are these people this caught in their own way? I don't know. I'm more mad about this than I guess I get about the loss. So, but that's my analytical brain. That's how my brain works. So, you guys have a great rest of your night. As always, I appreciate all the support, guys. Like and subscribe, rate and review on your favorite podcast platform. I really appreciate all of that. There's been some really nice stuff said lately. Maybe I'll start reading some reviews on the show or some comments on the show. So if you want to do that, please drop that below. Thank you for watching. As always, go Brewers. We'll get them again tomorrow, guys.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.